So a new Sniper Elite game just dropped, and yeah, it exists now. Before I get started, I have to say this is probably going to be a bit of a different video. I mean, there's almost nothing here to really talk about. There's certainly an idea of a story, but I don't think a single person plays Sniper Elite for the story. And I just felt like talking about it, so I'm gonna. Alright, here's a quick rundown of the new Sniper Elite game. The story of Sniper Elite Resistance runs parallel to the story of Sniper Elite 5. Whilst Carl Fairburn is occupied with uncovering and stopping Operation Kraken, Harry Hawker has been sent to take out a new German superweapon that could prevent the Allies from reclaiming France with the aid of the French resistance. Bonus points for the game taking place during a very important part of history. If you don't know, the French Revolution was a massive part in helping the Allies win World War II. Specifically, the brave souls involved in the French resistance provided vital information to the Allies about German troop locations, fortifications, and military plans, which heavily assisted the planning of D-Day. The intro cutscene basically just explains what I've just explained. Harry Hawk Tour explains how the Nazis don't know when or where the Allied forces are landing in France, and the Nazis are desperate to turn the tide back in their favour. The game opens by giving you a shit ton of menus to get through before it allows you to play, but your reward for getting through them all is a lovely montage of footage showcasing the horrors of war. Yay! In all seriousness though, this is the second win for the game. As far as I can tell, most of this is actual footage from World War II. Harry talks about his part in this. He's going deep behind enemy lines to meet up with a woman named Cauldron, who is a woman who has a lot of influence in the French resistance. So let's get this started. Mission 1, Behind Enemy Lines. Taking place somewhere in France. I refuse to even try and pronounce these names. A German soldier, while birdwatching, catches a glimpse of 3 very unusually plane-shaped birds. It scares him so much that he turns into an anime character. I too have the same reaction when I see planes. See, the thing is, Germans don't like when you try and bomb their dams, so these chaps make an attempt to shoot the planes down. And Hawker damn well will take care of them. Well, here we are. First things first, I gotta get to tagging. Second things second. Oh yeah! If somehow you don't know, this is Sniper Elite's whole thing. The thing that keeps it unique, the bullet cam, and the incredible, grotesque body damage. Unfortunately, there's no damage indicators on the outside other than a little blood splatter, but as you can clearly see, the internal damage is there in all of its glory. So I shoot a couple more Soldaten and climb down the bridge like ein verdammte Affe. This is where the game introduces you to the takedown mechanic. A very simple concept. Creep up behind an enemy, stab him in the fucking brain, and you're sorted. Excuse me sir, I'm going to stab you. Is that alright? Skablam. Oh my god, in the back of the head. Search. Now we can bam boom these 2 pipes which causes the dam to pressurize. Now with that taken care of, let's climb back up to the main area. We're now officially out of the very obvious tutorial starting area. We murder some more guys. Well, a lot more guys. Oh my fucking god, I hit him right in the nutsack. And use one of the flak cannons to shoot the other flak cannon. But what do you do about the first flak cannon, I hear you asking? Quick. Run! Ow, fuck.
1 mile to target! All crew, prepare for release! Payload reskin! Bombardier, you have control! Roger that! Coming up on the release point! Steady! Steady! She's away! Running! 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 Impact! Detonation confirmed!
Now that Harry has proved himself, He gets gifted a meeting with Carry-On and takes a stroll to a cozy house. Oh god, I'm getting John Marston flashbacks right now. Not to worry though, turns out this is the French resistance. Carry-On walks out of the shadows like a fucking Batman villain.
Hello.
And refuses to shake Harry's hand because she's just so badass.
No!
Right, Mission 2, Dead Drop. I think this is my favourite mission out of all of them. It takes place, as you can see, in this dope little town. Why is it my favourite? Well, I mean, just look at it for starters. But the reason is actually because it's an incredible map. There's a lot of verticality to it, a lot of enterable buildings, most of them having a second or third floor. There's underground bits as well as bridges with roads beneath them. And there's these little wooden shafts you can go through as well. It's just so cool. Anyway, Carry-On gives us the brief. The Resistance have a dead drop in St. Raymond, the regional headquarters of German military intelligence. They've been using this dead drop to contact a mid-rank officer named Vertigo. We don't know his real name. And his last report mentioned a serious threat against the Allied forces. He's offering us some vital information if we get him safe passage out of the town. However, this was supposed to happen about a week ago, and since then, the Gestapo have overrun the village, and we are to assume that they know about Vertigo. So Harry must infiltrate the town and find the intel in Vertigo's bolt hole. His bolt hole? I don't think I want to look at that. To be honest, I don't think I want to find that. There's also side missions you can do here and there, which will give you a ton of XP, and in every mission you also have a kill order, which is just some random high-ranking officer that you need to kill in any way you deem necessary. Up next. Oh shit, I forgot I put that mine there. Okay, actually next up. Oh yeah, I also put a mine there as well. Now we can move up to the library. And as per the rules, I use my silenced pistol to reduce the amount of noise I can create. But the Germans aren't one for following rules, and they start shooting back at me with unsilenced weapons. So, I must act as the librarian and punish them for this recklessness. There we go, they're much quieter now. Now that we're being left alone, we can steal some documents.
Isabelle Dubois. According to this, the Nazis have her listed as a potential resistance fighter. Not anymore, they don't. Pierre Moreau. Quite the rap sheet. Definitely part of the resistance according to this document. But the Nazis don't need to know that. Carry-On owes me a pint.
And now that we've disrupted the Nazis' investigation on the resistance, we can break into Vertigo's office and collect some more documents.
These documents are coded. I can't make head nor tail of them. Need to get them back to Morris. See what all this fuss is about.
Now we got to sprint all the way over to a little group of buildings. But before I continue, check this out. The Gestapo have destroyed this apartment. They clearly found out about Vertigo, but they didn't find the third set of documents that we're looking for.
A book on the Cathar Ways. Tunnels under St. Raymond. So, Vertigo knew they existed beneath the city.
You're never gonna guess what we find at the top of this church. Yeah, that's right. Another document. This time it's a letter from Vertigo.
It's a note from Vertigo. Gestapo on his tail. Asking to be extracted. Says he's gone to ground near the library gardens. If he's using the tunnels, he might even be beneath them.
I suppose it's time to go underground and exfil with Vertigo. I can't wait to meet him. He's fucking dead. Okay, I guess I'll just go then. The cutscene at the end of the mission lets us know that the Resistance's on-site codebreaker, Sergeant Maurice Ahmed, has begun working on Vertigo's notes. And if the claims are true, then the Resistance really are dealing with a Nazi superweapon. This triggers the SOE, the Special Operations Executive, to believe that D-Day is at risk. Therefore, Harry Hawk Tour will need to stay embedded within the Resistance in order to help them identify the threat and destroy it. Now that we've completed the first mission that isn't a tutorial, or one that throws us straight into the next one, I want to mention the end screen stats that you get after each mission. There's not much to talk about, but I think it's really nice and slick. To start off, it's got a punchy and satisfying first screen, which grades you using a starring system. You get 1 star for completing the mission, another for completing the optional objectives, and a third for completing the kill list. You also get to see your XP fill up the leveling bar, which is always nice. And after every mission, you get a new unlock. which is another beautiful thing to see. Overall, this screen gives you a lovely feeling of accomplishment. The next one is so much better though. You get a little document sheet of your performance, giving you stats such as alarm raised, bodies discovered, detection score. I have no idea how this one is scored. Kills, enemies unconscious, spared enemies tagged, and the time it took you to complete the mission, as well as a little graph for your overall performance. As you can see, for this mission, I was completely lethal, but I was creeping into the category of assault rather than stealth. Mission 3 flies us out to Fourvière, because Vertigo's documents mentioned its involvement in the development of the super weapon. I forgot to mention, there's a British woman who narrates all these cutscene briefings. I have no idea who she is. But anyway, she tells Harry that there's been an increase in Nazi presence throughout the region, which is being overseen by a high number of Gestapo. If you don't know already, the Gestapo was the Nazi police force, and they were a symbol of Germany's brutality during the war. Quoting directly from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum website, Gestapo policemen used torture and violence in interrogations. They coordinated the deportation of Jews to their deaths, and they harshly repressed resistance movements in Germany and in German-occupied Europe. So now that you know how awful they were, you can imagine how nice it is to shoot them in the face. The British woman also tells us that there's high volumes of suspicious cargo passing through the train station in this area, so I guess we'll keep an eye out for that as well. Rightio. So let's begin.
I've overstayed my welcome.
Incredible shot, actually. Look at that. Holy shit. Oh, right in the heart as well. Yeah, you're f***ed, bro. Oh my god, even better shot. Oh my god, actually right in the nose. So satisfying, man. It just is. Another side objective you have in these missions are new entry points for each of them. There are 3 entry points for each mission, and to unlock them, you have to find them. It's also here that I'd like to talk about the Axis invasions. I'll talk more about it later too, so for now I'll just give you the rundown. Basically, this feature allows other players to invade your current mission. This then means you have to stop what you're doing, try and find them, and kill them. Or continue what you're doing with the added risk that you're now being hunted down by another player. And it is so fun. And in this case, so now that he's taken care of, let's hunt down a high-ranking Nazi.
End of the line for you, traitor.
Moving into the hotel for the main mission, you're going to have to move up to the 3rd floor, then hop out of a window, climb up to the next floor, and then... God damn it, again? Anyway, after climbing up to the 4th floor, there's a door that you can place a satchel charge on. Blow that shit up and grab the first document.
Intel on the super weapon project, and its name, Kleiner Bloomer. Plus references to a dozen or so locations across France. This Nazi scheme might be bigger than we thought.
Oh my god. If you're gonna play this game, be prepared to hear that name said over and over and over and over again. It's actually fucking ridiculous how often the characters say it. The next document is below the hotel, which you can access by dropping down an elevator shaft onto the bottom floor. And this piece of intel tells us that the super weapon is a chemical weapon. The reason this is actually pretty dope is because while the Nazis did have a stockpile of chemical weapons during World War II, Hitler never used any of them on the battlefield. Jumping to the next objective, we get to the train station and discover that the Germans have a massively armoured train. Armoured trains were widely used in World War I and World War II, being used for things such as reconnaissance, transportation and combat. Of course, they were armoured to protect both the men and the cargo inside. And they were equipped with things such as anti-aircraft cannons, to protect them from enemy aircrafts, believe it or not. But, of course, if their railway was damaged, they were susceptible to being put out of order by way of derailing. But, in this instance, the trains are susceptible to Englishmen sticking satchel charges to the side of them and blowing them up. Ooh. Sucks to be you, man, I'm sorry. Going into the train station and heading upstairs, you can find another document which will inform you of a place that the Germans are shipping their cargo to. A place called Site D. And that's a wrap on this mission. The Resistance codebreaker is still figuring out where Site D is. So, in the meantime, we're sent back to Vallée-de-la-Cluse, because the Germans have managed to scavenge one of our bouncing bombs, those barrel-looking ones we used to blow up the dam in the first mission. The reason this is such a major issue is because this is a top-secret design which the Germans haven't been able to replicate, and a team of experts have arrived to examine the bomb.
Notably, they work for Dr. Uwe Schörner, one of the world's foremost and most infamous chemical biologists.
So of course, we can't let that happen, and we're tasked with getting back to the bomb and blowing it up, as well as destroying all of their work relating to it. Oh man, I gotta say I do love how hardworking these bombs are. Look at that beauty. Ooh, look, there's our bomb. If you feel so inclined, you can also stick a bomb to the dam pump, which will sabotage the repair of the dam. I would show you the explosion, but there isn't one visible from the outside of the building. All that's left now is to erase the evidence and all the witnesses of the bomb. You shitter! You shitter! Get fucked! You suck, dog. Nice one. Let's dip. In the mission's end cutscene, the British lady says that the Vertigo documents have confirmed that a supposedly shut down chemical weapons division ran by a man called Otto Kruger is in fact still operational. This means that the fact it's still being used to create the superweapon is unsanctioned and a secret even within the German military. This information shouldn't even be written down anyway. The Resistance have also intercepted a call from Otto that confirms he's planning on field testing his superweapon. The British lady then confirms that Kleine Blume is an advanced form of nerve gas, and of course, we'd rather not inhale any of that, so we head over to Site D, which we've now confirmed is the production facility of the nerve gas. This is my second favourite mission. There's just something about it taking place during a stormy night that makes it so much more fun to play. It's a massive vibe. Now seems like the best place to talk about the sound masking mechanic. Basically, whenever something loud in the game happens, you can use that sound to your advantage to mask the noise of your sniper rifle. Anywho, battling through so many fucking enemies and blowing up 4 big trucks, you'll eventually make it to the main production room. Once here, find the safe that contains the code to the control panel that clearly doesn't need a code, and pressing a bunch of random buttons on this console makes the production facility just shut down, I guess. And that's all this mission has in store for you. The cutscene regurgitates what Harry just did, but adds that even though we stopped the production, we don't know how much of the gas the Nazis stockpiled beforehand. But the info that Harry got from the production facility helps the Resistance locate the centre of the Kleine Blume program, which is also where Dr. Uwe Schörner is located, and he's the head scientist that created the gas. So, 2 birds. So our next mission as Harry is to infiltrate Fort Rouge, the beating heart of the Kleine Blume program, locate the remainder of the gas, blow up the AA guns, and plant a transponder for the RAF bombers to locate the fortress and bomb the shit out of it. The bombers are going to use an experimental bomb called the Earthquake Bomb, a real bomb that was a concept developed by a man called Barnes Wallis in 1943. This being the first concept of seismic bombs. Seismic bombs acted differently than regular bombs. The usual ones that you're most likely imagining explodes at or near the surface and destroys its target directly by using explosive force. But a seismic bomb is dropped from a high altitude, gaining high speeds as it falls in order to penetrate the ground and explode from underneath the earth. Seismic bombs destroy their targets by causing massive caverns and craters, as well as super powerful shockwaves. This means seismic bombs can actually damage and destroy larger targets that conventional bombs can't. Let's get back to the game. As usual,
AA guns, jump all out.
here's the first AA gun. Hold on, there's some Gestapo officers to kill. Okay, back to the AA guns.
As these guys are gonna get.
Here we go. Now our air boys can drop the bomb on this place. Oh goddamn people, this fort is insane. If you get spotted outside the fort, you'll get fucked up. And if you get spotted inside the fort, you'll get fucked up. This mission is also the one where Jaegers are introduced. These Jaegers have better weapons, more health, they're more accurate, I think, and they're less likely to panic in combat according to the wiki, but I don't know how true that is. They also can't be taken down if they spot you, so if you want to fight them hand to hand, you need to equip a bayonet. Breaking into a big ass box, we can grab nothing. It's just a box of wine. But they all come from one place, so Harry thinks that's important and stores the information in his brain bank. Oh, hold on, there's an invader. I do not need this right now. F you, bro.
Now I need to finish him off.
Prick. F you, bitch. You suck. And there we go, all sorted. We're done for this mission. But I'm just going to move on because we don't get to see the fort blow up, so f your briefing cutscene.
Unfortunately, all the warheads had been extracted by rail before your arrival, thanks to the machinations of Kruger and Special Committee C.
Bastards! Unfortunately, I skipped the rest of the intro. But basically, we're here to discover what happened to the remaining warheads. There's also a rocket launch site here, so optionally, we can sabotage that as well. I absolutely need to talk about what happened to me during this mission, because I have never seen it happen before. I mean, I'm sure it probably has happened, but I've never seen anyone post a clip of it. I got invaded by another sniper, and this happened. Did he just shoot me? Did we just shoot each other at the same time? We fucking did! Holy shit, that's insane! So now that the coolest thing to ever happen in Sniper Elite Resistance has happened, let's get back to the not as exciting objectives. And underneath the big ass mansion, there's a big ass bunker. Break into the control room and pull the lever to open the bunker doors. We stumble into a war room, which creates a mild panic because it turns out that the Kleine Blume was only part of the super weapon project. And the map in the war room lists everywhere that the Allies could land in France. And the Germans have placed Zugwerfers at every point. Zugwerfers are just armoured trains with a fucking tank cannon on them, by the way. So in short, we need to destroy them all. Because if we don't, wherever the Allies land, they'll get fucking ripped to shreds by these Zugwerfers. Luckily for us, there's still one in the station here, so we can take the opportunity to destroy one of them now. Perfect. Before I leave though, let's fuck up this launch site.
Rocket sabotaged. Need to sort out the ramp.
Turning this valve also does something, but I haven't a scoob what it does.
I'm sure London will be pleased to hear that this place can now be listed as a former launch site.
Perfect. In the end cutscene, the British lady has a little panic about the Zerg waffles. I forgot to mention that the tank cannons on them are going to be firing warheads loaded with the Kleine Blume. She says a single waffle could destroy D-Day, and the Germans seem to have 4 waffles. A resistance member named London, who has been the one gathering all the info from Vertigo's documents, seems to have figured out the main station where these trains are departing from. So that's where we're heading. End of the line begins with a radio call from some random British guy. He says Allied forces will be landing on French soil within 24 hours, and as soon as the Nazis figure out where the landing site will be, they're going to relocate the Zergwerfers to that position and steamroll the soldiers. So Harry is being sent to Gare du Nord, the main rail hub where all these Zergs are stationed. Multiple Allied bombing runs have attempted to blow the place up, but it still prevails. Our mission is to do whatever it takes to ensure that the trains cannot deliver their payloads. We are also to place a transmitter which will signal the bombardment of napalm our RAF planes are carrying. However, due to the present threat of these trains, there's not going to be enough time for Hawker to get clear of the bombardment. Right, so first things first. Oh my god! That's going to explode his face. Oh my god! And now we can sprint to the fuel supply and sabotage it. There we go. Oh fuck. Well, I suppose one final Axis invasion is quite fitting, and I'm gonna make this one count. I could not have asked for a better final invasion. That was a body shot? Bullshit. Heading into the main control station, grab a crowbar and break open the electrical box. Rip all the cables out, and that will trap the trains inside the station. And now you're completely free to get shot by a tank. And now you're even freer to place the transmitter.
Whatever it takes.
Kruger.
Surprise attack! Mission 9 starts now. This is literally the shortest mission in the game, so I'll just let you watch the whole thing.
Alles in Ordnung? Was ist passiert?
What?
Bitte nicht!
Alright.
Not so fast, Fritz.
Oh, is it going to be one of these missions? I just have to snipe him as he's getting away?
I've overstayed my welcome. Better get out of here.
No, I don't think so, actually. Asshole. Actually, I think it is. There we go. That was easy.
Be okay once I patch myself up.
Okay, there we go.
Only you could go on a suicide mission and still come home.
Have I ever met you before?
Bring it up next time we see Carl, yeah?
Speaking of which, HQ've had a word. New orders incoming.
No rest for the wicked, eh? Oh, speak of the devil.
How long until you leave?
Not long.
A pity. We could use more soldiers like you around here.
Here's hoping you don't need to, eh? Bonne chance, mon ami.
Right back at you.
Alright then.
Mission accomplished. Thanks to the actions of Hawker and the SOE, Morris and Station 12, Carillon, and an unfathomable number of heroic resistance fighters, the D-Day landing was uninterrupted by the Kleiner-Blumer conspiracy, and the operation was ultimately successful. Special Committee C are no longer a threat to the Allied war effort. The end of the war is in sight, but the fight is far from over. Preparing new orders for Captain Harry Hawker. Codename Wraith.
Damn, alright. What a badass, I guess. I think Sniper Elite Resistance is okay. It's not bad, it's just not great. It's just another Sniper Elite game. I really enjoyed Sniper Elite 5, 4, and 3. 5 was my favourite, and I played that until I got the Platinum Trophy, and it was fucking awesome. Now I know all the Sniper Elite games are just Sniper Elite games, but 3 to 5 all felt very different and unique in their own ways. But Resistance is literally just Sniper Elite 5, but oh look, you're not Carl in this one. It's just a reskin of the game that came before it. Also, I haven't played Sniper Elite 5 in a while, but I'm 80% sure it wasn't as clunky and janky as this game. I don't want to rag on the developers, but I think this one needed some more time in the oven. For example, climbing ladders in this game is fucking awful because of the way the character controls. The box for beginning the climbing animation is so exact, but the way that your character moves isn't exact in the slightest. Harry moves for a little longer after you stop pushing the stick, and he turns completely around when you slightly change the stick position. It's just all the stuff that makes something as simple as moving your character a chore. This also affects staying in cover. If you want to make small adjustments when you're hiding behind a sandbag, you just can't. The cover system itself also isn't great. It's very inconsistent. A lot of objects that you should clearly be able to cover behind just don't let you cover behind. Well, I think I've said all the negatives I wanted to voice, so moving on. The game is still really fun. Like I said, it's just another Sniper Elite game, but Sniper Elite games are fun, so I can't really be upset about that. And like I said in the beginning, Sniper Elite has never really been about the story. We all just want to shoot people and see the gore. The gunplay feels responsive and satisfying. Holy shit, am I cracked? Chat, am I cracked? The bullet cams are of course incredible as always, and you never feel like you're not in control of a situation. If you want to do a mission completely in stealth, you can. It will take you so much longer, but you can do it. If you want to go in guns blazing, you can do that as well. Either option you choose will be just as manageable as the other. The gun customization is also pretty nice. I always enjoyed being able to do that. I do wish there were more options for attachments, and that they made bigger cases for why you should equip them, but there's really no thought you have to put into an attachment, because they're either better or worse than what you currently have equipped. None of them make you think, oh okay, I really want to equip that because it does this thing super well, but if I do that, then I'm going to be worse at doing this. It's all just, I want a scope, I'll put that one on. I want a silencer, I'll put that on as well. Each mission is built really well too. They look lovely, they have multiple paths for you to take, all that good shit. I don't think there's anything more for me to say about the story. I just love that it takes place in World War II, and for the most part, it's all accurate. And it does such a good job in taking the real world events and weaving a story into those points in history. And it does a pretty good job in making you think you helped those events play out the way that they did in real life, like protecting D-Day from a horrible chemical superweapon. I do also want to briefly talk some more about Axis Invasion. I think this is one of the coolest features Rebellion have ever added to the series. It's so simple but so fun. Putting you against another player, making you stop what you're doing to have this 1v1 with someone else. Not only that, but it lets you completely continue your mission if you want to do that. It doesn't just go, okay, now you have to find and kill this player. It's like, oh, here's another threat you're going to have to overcome during your mission. You can tag each other, which will mark you on the other player's screen for a few seconds, but you never know exactly where the other player is until you make visual contact with them. There's also invasion phones which you can use, and this marks the general area where the other player is. But you have to wait 5 minutes from the time you spawn in to be able to use them. Another great feature in this mode is that when you're playing as the invader, you can use your binos to tag your NPC allies. And once they're tagged, they're on high alert, which means that whenever that NPC is alerted to the enemy player, the NPC will mark the approximate location of the player for you. Super cool. You can also turn Axis Invasion off if you really want to avoid being hunted down by another player, but I think the best way to play the game is to have it turned on. In short, it's a great feature, and I hope the franchise keeps it in. I feel like if I'm going to talk about the other game modes, I need to talk about multiplayer. So here we go. It sucks. Don't play it. Survival is also really fun. The way that the game functions just feels so perfect for a survival mode. I will stand on my opinion that this game is super janky. However, it feels just like an old early 2000s game. It feels familiar and comfortable. There's not much to say about the survival mode. It's a survival mode. You fight a wave of enemies, you beat that wave, another wave comes in, rinse and repeat until they stop coming. It's just good old-fashioned shooter fun, and difficult. Sniper Elite Resistance was quite a pleasant surprise. I hadn't seen a single piece of marketing or a trailer or anything. Then all of a sudden, Game Pass was like, hey, a new Sniper Elite game is coming out next month. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks bro, I'll check that out. I've got to admit, as much as I enjoyed it, I am glad I didn't pay for it. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wasn't sure how it was going to come out because I didn't really plan on making it. But I finished the Dead Space video and wrote the Crisis script sooner than I thought, so I thought fuck it. I played the game and wrote the script for this video. So, do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, tell me how good the video is, watch it 3 more times so I can get my watch time up, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out!